Just a little patience. Just gonna work on some stuff tonight. Let's see what we're gonna use. We're definitely going to do the tires. I think we're definitely going to do the ram. So we're going to use all of these. Use that. We're not going to use this for sure. We're going to use those. Just trying to figure out what all I'm going to use here. I don't think I'm going to use those. I think we're going to use almost everything. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to use almost everything. All right. Let's start seeing how this is going to get put together here. That's going to be tough. But, you know what? This is going to end up being really damaged anyways. I'm going to bust out one of my favorite tools. Let that heat up for a sec. I'll be removing a few parts here and there. Alright. We'll need to goes the ladder pipe here. And we're going to try to add some damage to this wheel well. So I can get the tire out easier. But also to make it look like some damage. Oh, didn't want that to happen, but you know what? That's all right. That glass does melt fairly easy. But I don't know if that's going to give the right look. I think we're going to have to go at this with something else. Grab a file. I kind of want to go at it a little rough, a little hard, because I want it to look broken. We got a pretty big barrel coming through here. I think we want this entire piece out right here. So we might want to cut this whole piece out like that. And we're also going to need some space on this interior glass. So not quite the shape we need yet. So that is pretty close. Looks something's in our way though. That's good. So we just need to paint that. And then back here, that. That. Oh yeah, that'll be beautiful. That will be beautiful. So paint those. Strap that. Sorry, I know this table isn't the greatest table in the world to do crafts on. It shakes a little bit. There is definitely a hole in there on that one. I'm going to have to work that out somehow. And we got these and these for sure. Over there. When you're doing things like 3D printing a lot and model modifications, I think the wood burner absolutely crucial tool. Nice. Got a kind of broken, jagged look there. That'll stick out. Excellent. I think we'll do this window right here as well. Actually, I guess we want a slightly bigger hole on here. Alright, cool. Now just need to figure out how this gets placed. So we're going to need to get rid of some of this top piece. I didn't want to get rid of a whole lot of the top because it's kind of, you know, like a one signature look. But I knew a lot of it was going to get in the way. Here comes trouble. Yes, darling. Hi.
What you doing?
Live streaming.
Oh.
There's nobody watching.
Oh. Is it okay if I spend the night at Blake's tonight?
No.
Why?
It's his birthday.
So?
You're gonna bone all night long.
No, I promise.
Whatever.
Please. Please.
That is all you'll do.
And then I'll be home tomorrow because he has work. I promise we won't do it all night. We won't do it all night, okay? He has work at 7 in the morning, so we won't do it all night, okay?
Fine.
Thanks. Well, I am grabbing my Xbox and we're leaving then.
Good. Didn't want to hang out with you anyways.
Good. We went to Fuddruckers for his birthday.
Gross.
He didn't love it. You don't like Fuddruckers?
You know I like thin burgers.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we liked it. He got the 1 pound, but it was really flat. Like, he said it did not seem like a 1 pound. I was like, what they probably do is get the half pound and flatten it and make it look like it's 1 pound. Or get like a little bit more or something. Because mine was thick. His wasn't. So.
Alright. I think that's enough shaping and forming. might be able to repurpose one of the pieces that broke off earlier. Yeah, I'll try to do that. We're going to load the top up with all kinds of junk after the fact. But for right now, now that we have what we need formed, we're going to do some painting. Going to be using some Modern Masters metal effects on a lot of this. This is the primer. It's just a rust-colored primer. Give it a good shake first. And then I'm going to apply iron-based paint and a vinegar solution to get a whole bunch of real rust. And it looks really cool. These parts, I need to figure this out first. I need to drill that out. You get a micro drill.
Where are my micro drills?
But, you know what? I don't have any drill bits in here. So I'm going to go grab a drill bit. I shall return. This one should be good enough. That goes all the way through. Go. Nice. Now, let's get to painting some rust. That's a whole lot. That's all right. We got a lot to paint. I mean, most of this can be base coated in this because I can paint over it and it's still a rust color underneath. And you don't even need a good pattern because we're talking about stuff that's going to purposely be rusted later. Rust. All these can be rust colored. And this doesn't cover very well because this is the prime. The prime level on some of these resin prints. But I'd rather do multiple thin layers and keep all my detail than do a thicker layer that loses its detail. If it doesn't look good enough, I can come back and hit it again, and I still haven't lost any detail doing it this way. So it doesn't cover very well, but that's all right at this point. Just getting some base coats. This is the tedious part, but this is also the part that just kills it when it's done. Definitely this ram. And this ram, the paint can be thick, and I can show brush strokes, or not, I don't want brush strokes per se, but texture is fine because this is going to be a huge, like, rusted hunk of metal. That's what I want it to look like. This is just going to look dangerous. one of the reasons why I started this project first is because we got some stages we got to go through with this. This is not going to be done tonight. It's got several layers of different paint, and then it actually has the rust period. I mean, I'll put it together before then, so if any of the pieces are close together, they can rust together. Stuff is so cool. Although, I found they don't give you enough activator with that rust paint, because while I still have over 3/4 of it, of the paint and the primer, I am out of activator. Luckily, the activator is basically just vinegar, and I have my own rust that I make. I put some steel wool into a jar with some vinegar and expose it to some sunlight, and you get paintable rust. And I think that's better than the activator because you're basically putting rust down on top of it. It gives it like a head start or supercharges it, however you want to look at it. I keep going over here so you can't see what I'm doing. But, I mean, I guess since nobody's actually watching, that's alright. But, you know, try to get better practices. Alright. Put a little on that in there. What's up next? These spikes. Got 2 sets of them. Hubcap covers. I think this one do parts of the missile launcher here. Do the base. I'm going to paint this green, but then we're going to rust the shit out of it. So we can put a coat or two on this. Those would be something else. Those would be something else. Those would be something else. You know, I think the main color of this is going to be rust. I think we're looking at a very rusty vehicle. No, no, no. So we're looking at no, none of that. Let's look at the actual car itself. I think I want to do this whole hood like the hood's been replaced. I'm going to be hitting most of this entire car. Just hitting some places harder than others. I'm telling you, once you see what this actually does, you'll see my vision a little better here. Like, I'm basically gonna get the whole car. Just some a little better than others. Like this back here, I just feel like there's nothing left of this. This is heavily rusted. then we'll do the opposite over here. We'll do the front fender really heavy. Alright, that's getting to be almost done. Back's going to be pretty damn rusted up. So it needs some pretty heavy primer there. I don't need to do much to the interior. The windows are going to be pretty blocked up. But we could definitely throw some miscellaneous. I got some extra rust, so any part of it that might actually be showing, definitely we'll hit with some of this rust primer. And then honestly kind of dusting it just a little bit with this gray that's already on there makes it look kind of good. All right. So there's all that. Not done with pre-painting though, because some of this is not going to start rust colored. Some of it we're going to start metallic. To my trusty testers, aluminum. These exhaust pipes. Actually not quite as bright as I wanted it to be. So you know what? Hold on. Let's hold up on that. I want something a little brighter for these pieces. I'm going to go grab a couple things from my table over here. All right. I'm going to try a couple other metallics. Extreme AK Interactive's Extreme Metal and Model Master Chrome Silver. I really like this polished aluminum AK. It's super thin. It almost just kind of rolls over whatever I'm painting with it. Let's check this one out and see how it does. Man, it's just so much easier to paint. Let me try the other one. I might have to resort, because I really want a certain color to start with here. I might have to resort to something I don't really want to do. Oh, I don't know. I think this one's going to do it. Oh yeah, that one does it. That one's much brighter and shinier. And Joey, if you're wondering what I'm painting these pieces for, it's going to be this Mad Maxed Out Ecto Ghostbusters Ecto 1. I have a whole bunch of additions to add on to it to make it really badass. But at this point, I am just putting some base, and that primer is, it gets covered up with this paint right here, which has iron in it. And once I hit it with some activator vinegar rust combo that I have, it will actually rust. Yeah, that's a little. See, this is what it's looking like now, and this is what it was with one of those others. I mean, is it chrome? No. But mirror paint is like 40 or 60 bucks an ounce. That's insane. So this will have to do. What up, my Y? Well, if Colin's here, I might have to work on the puppet. Definitely more of a Fury Road. That's why the whole thing's kind of coated in that rust primer, because the whole thing's kind of going to have that vibe. I got a couple guns that are going to be sticking out of certain windows. I'm pretty sure you made this shirt, Colin, so what the fuck are you talking about? And this big badass motherfucker be sticking out the windshield. And this is unfortunately going to be a long project because of all the, like, I have base coats to lay down, and then a lot more weathering, and then the rusting process itself. This one's unfortunately going to take a little bit. That's why I started with it. We're not going to see the finished product on this for a minute. Yeah, this Gatling gun will be mounted right here and coming out the front like this. I gotta get all these in here to dry too, because I'm very mobile today. I gotta be able to move on to other stuff. I even 3D printed a lift kit and bigger wheels. Bigger, more badass wheels to go on it than the wheels that were already on it. It'll be pretty cool when it's all done. And a bunch of leftover parts that I took off of it to begin with. that I might throw on in some way. Speakers. And interior. Among a buttload of others, though, what do I do next? Alright, I got two choices for Fallout. A tiny little prop or a small prop. Either or. I have a MedX syringe and, of course, a mini nuke. And a lot of people don't know it, but you could put your weed in there. I assume we're going to want the mini nuke, which I don't even have a pattern handy for how that looks. Let me pull that up. Okay. So need some. Definitely need some red, some yellow, some military green. Let me grab those paints. Oh. Ooh, refractive film. That might be all right. Yes, I did. Now this shit is going to be a pain in the ass. Yellow is the fucking worst color to paint. But it looks like yellow is red. It's not perfectly accurate. Alright, alright. I also need a flatter sided brush. Yeah. I'm going to try a couple different yellows because yellow is such a pain in the dick to paint. Hopefully one has better coverage than the other. I just want to double check, make sure I'm right. Yellow. definitely at least part of this is right. It goes on all right, but by the time it dries, you almost need like fucking 70 layers. And I'm going to employ a technique I always regret later, but since I'm putting so many layers on, I'm going to do sloppy yellow. That one's terrible. This one's better. I don't need to be exact with every paint layer, just the last one. It's thin and it's acrylic, and it's going to take a bunch of layers, so I'll do that yellow first. Bottom fins, other fins are red. This whole part is military green. I really hope this is going to work. And of course it's clogged up. Oh yeah, no, that's perfect. Because these are good paints. These are my model paints, and they have really good coverage. With the silver underneath, it'll still probably need 2 coats, but everything needs 2 coats. Right? I fucking hate painting yellow. I've almost never had a military green like this, like an olive green, that didn't cover really well either. Makes me wonder if it's something with that color. Because it always covers really good. Even the cheaper versions of the paint. Oh, man. This is going to be really cool once I get it all painted up, to rub some of it off so that silver shines through. Just water. These are just acrylics. I don't need any thinner or anything like that. Well, the metallic was an acrylic, but the water will at least keep it. Yeah, it's just yellow from the paint. And let's see, that green goes almost all the way. It does does go all the way up. Damn, that's a lot of green. Whatever, it's a good color. need to go back to so I could see what I'm actually doing. I had the picture of the mini nuke pulled up instead of my stream software, so I couldn't actually see that I wasn't holding that on the screen. Yeah, definitely going to take 2 coats, but it'll look really good once the second one is done. I have a lot more Fallout props to do. These were the only 2 I was prepared to do tonight, but I'm kind of addicted to printing Fallout stuff because that's what I'm good at. I can make something look old and shitty. Rust and chips and damage, I'm good at that. So I love printing Fallout stuff. I have a pipe pistol and a ruined overpass diorama out on the shelf, along with a deathball skull. And I have a laser pistol and a 10mm submachine gun and half a dozen other things to do from Fallout. Actually, I think, let me get this right here. Yeah. $10 submachine gun sitting right here. Was doing some tests on how to get it. It's a very dark shine on that, like a really, really, really dark chrome almost. And I was doing some tests on how to try to get that finish. And then this print's actually made so that real screws go in those holes to complete this look. It's actually half like tapped. Take a look at that real quick. So the top half of those fins. I did not. I'll line around this. This is the part that needs to be precise. But I don't know why I'm doing that precise, because I'm not done with the yellow yet. I need to finish the yellow there first. Yeah, and once you go hit it with that second coat, There's nothing showing through. That's second coat there. It's right here. It's good. First coat. Second coat. But that silver underneath, like I gotta be extremely careful with this until I can seal it. Because that silver underneath, I don't know what it's made out of. That shit will almost, it's like just rubs right off. But it's awesome for this type of stuff if you want a metal finish underneath and you want to purposely rub off pieces of it so that the metal shines through underneath. This silver paint, I think it's just like a Krylon aluminum spray, is awesome for that. But you have to be extremely careful with it until you're done with it and ready to seal it. Set it down too rough. I mean, if I'm too rough with this brush, I can pull the silver underneath off. Holy shit. That is really cool. I have a Nerf over there. It's on my. See, I got like 10 projects here that I'm like prepared to do tonight if I need, like, I can pull any ones. But I have like literally 60 or 70 sitting around here. And one of them I want to do is a Nerf gun. It's only because it's super unique. I've never seen one like it. It's like this Doom Borderlands. It just looks badass. And I thought this would be a good one to paint. But that's pretty high on my list. I have so much other stuff. Oh, man. Yeah, this is going to look really nice. My red doesn't cover very well either, but it definitely covers. That's because it's the paint. It's not like that yellow that just sucks to work with. It's a trade-off that I make. I love the color that this red is. I love it, but it don't cover very well. It's got a very, very vibrant color that I can't find in most other acrylics. Take one more look at that. All right, man. It does go all the way up. It seems like that's a lot of green, but It does go all the way up here. That aside for a sec. I don't necessarily want to move on to anything else because this is acrylic. It's going to dry super, super fast. So, you know what I'll do? It's Colin's favorite thing. This is the guy I'm working on. He's not done yet. He obviously doesn't have eyes, but he's going to be a mascot for the podcast. He is going to be like we have to we have to be PC and suppress bad thoughts. So he's going to be the manifestation of all of those bad thoughts. But it scares the shit out of Colin, so he gets bedtime stories every night. He gets bedtime messages from him. Let me check. The tip is red. Tip's red. I usually have to hit it with some of this other red first, just because this shit is so transparent, but it's got such a good color. So I'll hit it once with this shitty acrylic. This is not the good one, not the good color. But I'll hit it once with this first. Maybe twice, we'll see. Yeah, puppets have always been. I've always wanted to build one, and I've watched a couple YouTube videos on how to do it. I'm not trained. I don't really know how. I'm kind of faking my way around it. But I didn't use a pattern or anything. He's built from scratch with a few salvaged parts. The his back side here is pretty rudimentary. It's just got like this. It's so bad. Like this right here that I put my thumb in is his arms. His arms come together in a V, but it's so that I could give him the almost like a shrug motion with my thumb hooked in there, and still working on him. His eyes are clay that they're drying right now, but I'll be able to put his eyes in, and he's going to have some horns, some extra teeth. What else did I make for him? I don't even remember. I still don't have his chest quite right yet. It does not shape right. around his neck area. I still got some, mouth work to do, eyes, and then his overall hair. Like this was a scarf. It was a scarf I got at a yard sale, and for the fur, and I just really really liked it. And then initially I was gonna make a trash panda puppet, but his nose ended up being a little too short and his head a little too round to pull off a raccoon. So he's still got some work to do, but he's gonna be really really cool when it's all said and done. Let's do another yellow coat while the red dries. God damn, that's gonna take forever. I'm gonna be painting fucking this yellow ring longer than anything else. But yeah, I've always wanted to build a puppet. I never wanted to take the time to do it because it seemed like it took a lot of. My sewing skills aren't that great. Let's see if we can't get some of that badass red on there yet. I might need a couple coats before that starts to really stick. Because this dries much more transparent than it looks when it goes on wet. Yeah, I got life skills. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. All right. Grandview was fortunate and unfortunate in a lot of different ways. There were a lot of teachers there that really, really cared and really wanted to make a difference. Unfortunately, those were usually the first year teachers that they paid fucking dog shit, and they usually didn't stay long enough to make a real difference. While garbage tenured teachers stayed there and failed me in geometry 5 goddamn times. R.I.P. Miss McNeely, but you were a shitty ass teacher. I actually legitimately failed her class 4 times every year in high school, and I went to Hillsboro for summer school after my senior year, and I still failed it there. But I learned more in the 10 weeks I took it under a different teacher than all 4 years of Miss McNeely. Uh, I guilted the teacher into passing me because I was only half a credit shy, the half a credit needed from geometry. And I said, I will absolutely not go back to high school to fail geometry a sixth time. And she passed me. Because geometry is required. There was a lot of shit shows going on there. I don't remember the teacher's name, but she was the short-haired teacher taught in the last class on the left upstairs in the new building in the new high school. It was like remedial math, and that the people that were in that class, you just look down that list, and I don't know how they put all of these people in this class together, and I don't know how on God's name they expected us to get anything done. Anything at all. It was the worst group. There was, every class has like one or two assholes in it like me. There was like 14 or 15 of us. There was a fight like once a week. it was it was insane. It was so insane. They knew it was so insane because they had two teachers in there. It was whatever that teacher's name was, and then Ms. Ehlers was also in there, I think. Yeah, they also put her in there. It was like her free hour to keep stuff from happening because it was such an insane class, insane group of people. I'm not naming any names, but if you can think of the wildest ass class that you could possibly have at Grandview, those kids were probably all together in that class. I almost got into a fight with somebody younger than me who would have beat my ass, and it would have been super embarrassing, and I'm so glad I didn't get into that fight. Oh, god damn, I loved ISS. Mr. Young was fucking awesome. I remember a couple people that were in that class. The only people that I'll name are people that I'm still friends with and I don't really give a shit. I was in that class. Billy Turnbow was in that class. Jason Rock was in that class. Doug Patton was in. No, Doug Patton was not in that class. But he was in there a lot because I don't know what class he was in, but he would just come and go. God, this yellow is gonna take forever. You know what I should have done is I should have put some yellow out way in advance and let it thicken up. Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that class was wild. Let it sit for a minute. We'll let that sit for a minute. I'm going to do some touch-up work on something else while those really dry. I'm going to do a touch-up work on a knife I'm working on, a fake knife. The small figures on my list are, I have a Watcher from Horizon Zero Dawn. I have a Strider from Half-Life. I have a Mando. I have a Hulkbuster. I have a Lion Cat from the Saga comic series. And I have a Mogwai. And I have a Master Shake. Those are the ones that are sitting here prepared to go. But shit. I literally have a closet full of projects to do. I was going to do a channel, but it was just too much work to do the channel and the podcast at the same time. And we're putting a lot more work into the podcast. So I was saving up projects for months, expecting to do a YouTube channel that I didn't end up doing. I wasn't originally or anything like that. No, I was into more science fiction for the most part. That brush isn't going to work. I need something more detailed. Just overpaint, just blacking out some overpainting from doing the gold on this Skyrim dagger here. Got a little too overzealous with some of the gold paint. It needs to be blacked back out. Colin, don't make me get the puppet. I like certain toys, things that I had, like Ghostbusters, Jurassic Park, Aliens and Predators. Anytime I see Aliens and Predators or Jurassic Park at a yard sale or Toy Man or something like that, I always grab them. Hey, Colin. It's Colin's Conky from Trailer Park Boys. He hates it so much. This thing is so unbelievably fragile, you have no fucking idea. Damn, that's hard. Pain in the ass. These are going to be badass, though, when they're all done. I have a whole series of them I'm working on. Basically, any of the dagger materials from Skyrim, I tried to grab and print. I got that one, which is the farthest one along. The next farthest one along is probably iron. And then one that still has a lot of finished work to do is dwarven. And I also have Dragonbone and Daedric and a couple specific ones. Those are the ones the most farthest along. Oh, damn. Fucking puppet hair gets everywhere. I think it might be good enough. If it doesn't dry a little bit more transparent, the yellow might be good enough to move on. But I gotta grab a charger real quick. My phone's about to die. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Had to get a charger. And get it plugged in somehow. Joey, I thought I grabbed something else from out there. I thought you would appreciate one of my most finished creations. You remember the movie Tremors? Let's see. This is Val and Earl's Jeep Gladiator that they escaped town in, complete with the Val and Earl on the side. 3D printed a whole bunch of shit that goes in the bed of that truck. Like, and it's what's actually the only thing that's not in the back of that truck that's actually in the truck is the vacuum cleaner. I could not find a vacuum cleaner to put in the back of it, but everything else is there. Even the tiny little milk crate, that was a bitch to print. Garbage bags made from actual garbage bags with shit in it, rope tied down with rope. There's a cooler and a toolbox, and this has been one of my bucket list things. I have been printing a lot lately, and a lot of my bucket list stuff has been getting printed. This was one of my bucket list things. Is Val and Earl's truck. I have a life-size gremlin on the table. Colin knows what I'm talking about. It took 4 weeks to print. It's nowhere even close to ready because I have to smooth out a lot of the lines. This is, I don't know. This is only a problem. It wasn't that bad. This was only printing 4 parts: the the 2 axles, the front, and the back. There's probably 4 days worth of printing. This is printed in resin. That's why it looks so fucking good. Not like some of these other prints. It's about 4 days worth of printing, and then all these little things. Honestly, probably more editing the files on the computer than actually doing it. Because like this cooler, all this stuff, fucking a sleeping bag made out of felt. This probably actual like me sitting down and working on it. It was probably about 10 hours. But you know, a lot of work in everything else. This was one of my bucket list prints. I've always wanted to do that. You've seen my kite, right? Because that's one of my other bucket list prints that I wanted to do. And I do have another one that I'm going to be working on, but he's still very much in the planning stage, or not in the planning, but in the finishing stages. He's got no fur. He's got no fur. He's got no finish painting or anything like that. But I am making another one. The first one I made was for myself. This one I'll be making to try to sell. But that was another bucket list one that I always wanted to do. The Jeepers Creepers truck, which is actually printing right now on that printer, is a bucket list print that I've always wanted to make. But we'll see how that turns out. Ricky's car from Trailer Park Boys, the Shitmobile, is a bucket list one. And I tried, and I could not get a print for that one. But I did find somebody else who made a Shitmobile, and it looked fucking perfect. And it was based off of this Ford Interceptor police car model. So I'm actually out of super glue right now, but when I get some more super glue, I'm gonna make Ricky's Shitmobile out of that. And then, of course, you know, here's this. There's him. He's gonna be. I gotta smooth all of these lines out from where I joined him. And I had one finger that didn't print that I used a 3D print pen to replace. So there's a lot of smoothing out work that has to be done to this before I can even think about priming and painting this guy. But this is another bucket list print. And by the way, I have like I'm gonna have like an entire Tremors wall, or not wall, but an entire like display. It's one of my unfinished prints that I haven't even cleaned up yet. Is an ass blaster. I haven't even cleaned it up yet, but it's still. I have that to do. I have this to paint to go with the truck. I have a shrieker somewhere in the closet. Yeah, that's right, somewhere in the closet because there's so many everywhere. And also somewhere in there a water tower to make the perfection water tower. I mean, the instructions are specifically water, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. He's kind of a pain in the ass to get to, but I also have a Johnny 5 about this tall to print. Or not to print, he's printed, he needs to be painted. There's his head. Along with literally almost 100 other prints. Just waiting to be done. Waiting to be painted. That's why I don't really care if anybody watches these or not. I need to do them. I need to do the stuff. The one upside to painting so many layers with this red is by the time it goes on, by the time it is done, the paint's so damn thick, it gives you that like lead paint 50s kind of look because it is so thick. What up, Roy? I think what I might do though is if it takes, like once that layer dries here, I'm going to put another layer of that shitty red just because it's thicker and it'll take better. And then maybe only one or two other layers on that is all that'll be needed. And then I can move away from that. I have 3 printers that when I can afford filament in them, I run 24/7. Right now, 2 of them are down. Well, I have 3 filament printers. I also have 3 resin printers, and I'm usually only running 1 at a time there, but I will if I have the resources. Resin's much more expensive. I just wanted to have enough projects to finish that I could keep about half for myself and sell about half of them. I don't want to make money like massive profits off of printing, but if it funds my printing and 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 hobbies like this, then that's all I want. I'm happy with that. If I can continue to print my own shit for myself, what I'm actually going to start doing is I'm going to try to start helping some people with some terrain for tabletop board games. So if you know anyone into tabletop board games and they actually use terrain a lot, tell them to hit me up. I should have some examples of what I can do soon. I'm going to move this camera just a bit so I don't move out of frame as often. So that's green. I always end up with half-finished paint jobs here, but a half-finished piece is motivation to finish it. I'll finish a half-finished much sooner than I will than I would have normally finished it. Get that on there pretty damn thick. Roy, if you're still there, how's Legos? Did you just see that Toy Man's coming back in July? Colin, I know you saw it. You fucking posted it. I've shared it. Oh, yeah. don't think I have anything Rick and Morty right now. I have Rick and Morty plans to do some things, but I don't think I have anything printed right now. What are you talking about, Colin? I know you saw the damn post because you were the one who posted the post that I saw the post. If I take a break to smoke, you're just going to call me and tell me some high story that I don't understand. Conky will tell you a story. Colin. Hi, Colin. Did you miss me? Join us, Colin. Sorry. You know what, Colin? I am going to take a break. I'm going to go grab something. For me. It's just me, or sodas taste better when you don't pay for them. Let's do Lion Cat. What do I need for Lion Cat? Basically just gold, purple, and that whatever fucking blue it is. Alright. More colors for another painting. Easter egg. Now we're going to do Lion Cat from the comic series Saga. He's a weird ass color. You're gonna be like, why are you painting the cat this color? Because this is what we're painting. This is fucking awful. Ugh, don't like this gold. It worked on something else. Don't like it at all. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of coats too. Shouldn't have primed this in gray. Ooh, it would have sucked. Oh, I didn't know you were still there. Did I ever tell you the story about when me and your mom met for this secret rendezvous? And, well, we had you. Oh, shit, I don't know. Oh, I hate cheap paints. It's gonna take forever to paint shit like this. What kind of story do you want to hear? Who are you with? Doesn't have a butthole, but I'll give it one. The Hardy R? Oh, you guys should be down here. Oh, shit. Oh, the Mogwais. Fuck. Why don't you just start a Zoom or something then? I don't know how to do it, and I don't have it installed, so I'll just join whatever you do in a browser. Starting one? let's see here. Holy shit, this is gonna take forever to cover.